This is Glow in the Dark Radio. The science fiction podcast with original independent science fiction written and performed by Mike Luoma, with music by Kevin MacLeod. The Vatican Assassin Trilogy and The Adventures of Alibi Jones by Mike Luoma are available in ebook, trade paperback, and audiobook wherever you find your books online. Get links and details at glowinthedarkradio.com. This is the Science Fiction Podcast, Glow in the Dark Radio. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma, and I've got the final chapter and the epilogue of Alibi Jones and the Sunrise of Her, the end of the novel, on this episode of Glow in the Dark Radio. So we'll hear Chapter 29 and the very brief epilogue. Alibi Jones, Katie Ramsey, and Kit seem to have finally escaped Kismet, though planetary overlord and crime boss Rene Lavalore was on their trail. Right on their tail. Can he follow them through transspace? We shall see. He was trying to at the end of the last chapter. We'll pick things up as we get into Chapter 29 and the epilogue, the end of Alibi Jones and the Sunrise of Her, coming up on this episode of Glow in the Dark Radio. Well, they've started publicizing the Green Mountain Book Festival that I'm going to be a part of next month, Saturday, October 18th. It features New York Times bestselling author John Scalzi. He's going to be doing the keynote address. I'll be part of a panel on humor in science fiction that happens that day with Mr. Scalzi. So, looking forward to that. More details on Substack. Actually, they just started a Green Mountain Book Festival Substack where you can find out more. Or just look for the links in my show notes or on any of my socials. And as I mentioned last week and the week before, I'm talking to a studio. Yeah, I got a meeting coming up next week. Talking to a studio about perhaps turning Alibi Jones and Vatican Assassin into TV series. Maybe the Ancient Stone Mysteries of New England documentary series could be turned into like a big deal documentary series. So I'm going to be pitching those ideas coming up on Monday afternoon. Looking forward to doing that, and I'll let you know how it goes. I've never done this before. And also, as I was mentioning, this is the final chapter and epilogue of the current novel that we're into, Alibi Jones and the Sunrise of Her. So next week we're going to be doing a short story, The Wishing Stone. And then we get into the Time War of the Devrisium, as the Chronological Omnibus continues on our podcast. Coming up next, we're getting into Chapter 29 and the epilogue of Alibi Jones and the Sunrise of Her on Glow in the Dark Radio.
Under 30,000 feet of water, the exploration rig Leaguer has discovered an oil field larger than Saudi Arabia. With oil so sweet and pure, nations would go to war for the rights to it. But as the team starts drilling exploration wells in their race to claim the sweet crude, a deep rumbling beneath the ocean floor shakes them to their core. Something has been living in the oil. Paul E. Cooley's The Black is a techno-horror thriller reminiscent of movies such as Leviathan and The Thing, and puts terror right into readers' ears. The Black, a free podcast novel available from shadowpublications.com and iTunes. Ocean exploration will never be the same.
Now here's Chapter 29 of Alibi Jones and the Sunrise of Her on Glow in the Dark Radio. Thomas's ship flashes out of transspace at the nearest transspace point to her. There's no sign of Lavalor's ship following. Alibi bristles when he sees the Sekta ships, the Greater Ta, in orbit around the Dakhur's home. Kit arrives on the bridge as Alibi maneuvers their cruiser into its own orbit. "The Greater Ta has made good on its threats," Kit says when he observes the armada around them. "Dakhur is now part of the Greater Ta?" Alibi nods. "I do not like this. My father and I will have words," Kit says. "It's not his fault," Alibi says. "He was wasting his time coming after me instead of doing his duty to Dakhur," Kit says. "We will have words." "Geesh, Kit, your father helped me save you," Alibi says. "Yes," Kit says. "I hold you responsible as well." Kit's father gives the word, and their cruiser is cleared to land. Rakhar leads the delegation that greets them when they disembark. "Hello," the old catman says when he sees them. Kit pretends he does not hear him. "My ungrateful son," Rakhar says, after Kit walks past him in silence. "He said you would have words," Alibi tells Rakhar. I guess just not now." "I am sure he will speak his mind later," Rakhar says. "In time. I owe you thanks, Alibi Jones. You have returned both a light in my life, my son, and a light of our world, the sunrise of her. You are once again welcome on her." "Thank you, Rakhar," Alibi says. It means a lot to me." "We have a quiet apartment arranged for you to stay the night and rest. There is food and an entertainment center with human selections. I hope you find it comfortable," Rakhar says. "So, wait, you're thanking me, Rakhar, but I'm not welcome to appear in public?" Alibi is puzzled. "Your presence is troubling to the Greater Ta. You annoy them, Alibi Jones. You are, they say, disorderly. They have agreed to allow you to visit, so long as we limit your contact and influence. I am no longer interested in annoying them by parading you around." "I see. Well, thank you, Rakhar, for your hospitality," Alibi says, trying to keep the sarcasm out of his voice. "My son you call Cat will lead you to your apartment." Cat leads Alibi to his quarters. They talk as they walk across the Capitol Plaza to a multi-species hotel that caters to the Dakhur's alien visitors. "So, you did it. I am surprised," Cat admits. "Thanks for your confidence," Alibi says. "It was not a lack of confidence in you," Cat says. "It is, however, hard to rescue someone who does not want to be rescued, who wishes he was dead." "I wish you didn't feel that way," Alibi says. "As do I," Cat says. "It is the fault of Lavalor, and that human woman Katerina as well," Cat opines. "Not her fault," Alibi says, objecting. "She didn't really belong to Lavalor. He had no right to try and claim her like that." "It was her associations that brought tragedy to the day of joining," Cat says. "What should have been a day of joy instead became a day of despair. I will be glad to see both of you humans gone, for the doom you bring to my family." Cat changes the subject. "We are here." "What?" Alibi says. "We have arrived at your hotel," Cat says. Alibi looks around. The hotel is a 4-story droplet of creamy white and glistening glass rising up off the plaza. Cat leads him through the glassine doors of the hotel and directs him up a flight of white marble-like stairs. A nod from Cat to a Dakhur seated in a prominent chair, and they pass into a long corridor lined with 4 doors. "Here you are, Alibi Jones," Cat says, as he opens the second door on the right. The suite is luxurious and designed for a human occupant. The creamy white color scheme carries on into the room's interior design. "White everything?" Alibi asks. "It is the White Hotel," Cat explains. It is renowned throughout the known universe. You are being honored by Rakhar." "Good to know," Alibi says. "Thank you, Cat." The Dakhur nods. He turns and walks back down the hallway. Alibi closes the door and surveys the room. There is a menu in the suite's kitchenette, as well as food in the cupboards and refrigerator. The bedroom has a massive king-size bed draped by a plush white quilt over white fuzzy blankets and silken cream-colored sheets. The bed looks awful inviting. Alibi doesn't even remember lying down when he wakes up in the middle of the night. He's still dressed. He peels off his clothes and climbs back in between the nearly frictionless satin sheets and falls back asleep. Alibi wakes before dawn. Unable to get back to sleep, he showers and gets dressed in a new jumpsuit he finds in the bedroom closet, navy blue and in his size. His stomach rumbles, so he explores the kitchenette and finds breakfast bars. He makes coffee, munching on a bar. Noticing the light starting to come up outside, Alibi takes his second cup of coffee out onto the hotel room's deck. Alone with his thoughts, Alibi Jones watches the sunrise of her. As he finishes the second cup, the room comm dings. Alibi comes back in off the deck to answer. Rakhar is calling. "Alibi Jones," Rakhar greets him. "Good morning. I hope you had a good rest." "I did, Rakhar. Thank you," Alibi says. "We have refueled and repowered your ship. It is ready and waiting for you." Subtle. Maybe I'll yank his chain a little. "I don't know. This hotel is lovely, Rakhar," Alibi says. "It might be nice to stay here a while." "Oh." Rakhar is silent for a moment. "I do not know that the Sertar will be willing to allow you to do that, Alibi. I am sorry." Alibi smiles an understanding smile for the old catman. "He was just completely honest with me. Gotta respect that." "I understand, Rakhar," Alibi says. I'll be leaving soon, then." "My son will be at your hotel in a few minutes to escort you back to the port. I will see you off." "See you soon, then, Rakhar," Alibi says. The comm shuts off. Another toned ding announces his escort's arrival. Alibi assumed it would be Cat, but instead finds Kit standing in the doorway as he opens it, the son to which Rakhar referred. "My father asks me to escort you to your ship," Kit says. "Thank you," Alibi replies. "Do not thank me," Kit says without emotion, without looking him in the eye. "Thank my father. Please follow me." Kit leads Alibi to his ship, Brady Thomas's old ship, in silence. Rakhar waits outside the vessel. Alibi looks around for Katie, but there's no sign of the girl. Kit sees him looking and finally speaks again. "Katie is staying with us here on her," he tells Alibi. "My brother Cat is not happy about this. He wants to see the both of you gone. But there it is. Katie wants to spend some time on our planet. And she does not wish to travel with you any longer, Alibi Jones." "Oh," Alibi says, a little stunned. Not surprised, but hurt all the same. "I am sorry," Kit tells him. "Don't be," Alibi says. "I could kind of see this coming. Even when we were together, it was always, something. I kept waiting for her to disappear again or get tired of me or... Kit. I guess deep down inside I just figured it wasn't meant to last. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop." "I do not know about dropping shoes," Kit says, "but I believe you may have brought about this ending through your anticipation of it." "Yeah, self-fulfilling prophecy, huh?" Kit mulls over the words. "Self-fulfilling prophecy? Yes, that sounds correct." "The shoe dropping is a human expression," Alibi tells the Catman. "I see," Kit says. His furry brow furrows as he puzzles on the meaning. No, I do not. You know, Kit, Alibi says, if you ever need me, if you need my help, just pick up your wand and call, okay? Thank you, Alibi, Kit says. I have been mourning, and have not been entirely myself. I will call if I need your help. If anyone needs your help. Thanks, Kit. Alibi Jones, Rakhar says, getting his attention from the platform. Yes, Rakhar. Thank you again for bringing my son back to me, the old Dakhur says. He may even come to forgive me for it someday. Rakhar hisses the Dakhur equivalent of a laugh. And thank you again, as well, for returning the sunrise of her to us. The Catman gives Alibi a slight bow. Alibi bows back. Thanks, Rakhar. Alibi boards the ship and heads for the bridge. Guess the ship belongs to me now. Brady Thomas has no use for it anymore. Better yet, Brandywine won't be able to take this one away from me. As Alibi reaches the bridge, his wand's alarm goes off. Aranita! Alibi? There's little emotion in her voice. I'm on my way back to Cat's Eye. Just leaving her. I heard, she says. Alibi, what do you know about what's happened on Kismet? Kismet? Has something happened there? I know that tone, Alibi, she says. Don't play dumb with me. Well, Kit and Katie are both safely off Kismet, he tells her. So there's that. The entire city has been destroyed, Alibi. Hundreds of people have been reported missing or killed. We don't usually go there, but the safe has sent ships to help evacuate some of the survivors. Really? Really? Alibi? His aunt leaves his name hanging in the air like a question. Then she asks, Is Katie with you? She stayed on her, Aunt Anita, he tells her. Well, maybe that's for the best? Maybe. I don't know. Alibi sighs. Aunt Anita? What, Alibi? Did they find Lavalure? On Kismet? Not that I know of, she says. He's one of the missing. Good, he says coldly. Alibi, his aunt says tenderly, why don't you come to Ceres Central for a visit? Why, he asks. Because you sound depressed, angry, she says. Come back home for a couple of weeks and recharge your batteries. I will, but I'm going to stop at my place on Cat's Eye first, Aunt Anita, he says. I'll let you know when I'm coming. Hope you do, hon. Anita out. She signs off. Well, it is kind of nice to have someone thinking about me. Alibi smiles. Epilog. Goddamn Alibi Jones! Lavalure curses. He coughs up more blood and bile. He doesn't know how much longer he has to live. His bones are broken, his skin burned. His semi-mechanical men twitch and squirm around him, their human parts also now burned and broken. Their cruiser is twisted as if squeezed by a giant. It is Alibi Jones's fault. If Lavalure were not pursuing him, he would not have instructed his pilot to jump, even though the ship's engines were damaged. The damaged engines would not have thrown them here into deep space, and would not have wrenched them from transspace with such great violence he and the crew lie dead and dying, broken and twisted inside the remains of their cruiser in the middle of nowhere. What is that noise? Lavalure wonders aloud. In deep space, in the middle of nowhere, the hunger spies the morsel. The elite of the people hungers and finds the morsel. It does not distinguish between individuals, but instead finds cybernetic limbs and extensions in dead and dying flesh, and one living, twisted human mind. So hungry. Out of the pieces and parts, the elite assembles a host, a body to once again take a shape. It pulls apart and reattaches limbs and cybernetic attachments, and creates a new whole. It builds the new host upon the brain, making the mind the control mechanism of the new mechanical form. The new beast has 6 legs and 2 pincer arms, and these support a metal mesh made of ship and body parts. Organic, metallic, carbon, silicon, no matter. The hunger consumes all. The cyber gristle gives form to the elite. For a moment. The hunger flexes and tries to move in its new form, but again, there is failure. There is naught that can contain the hunger, the energies the new elite of the people generate. They burn through their new form. The fragile brain turns to cinder. The mechanisms overheat, melt, and then vaporize in the zero gravity of deep space. The hunger, having consumed the morsel, continues on through deep space, still seeking sustenance and form in the middle of nowhere. For now. That was the epilogue and the ending of Alibi Jones and the Sunrise of Her on Glow in the Dark Radio. We also heard Chapter 29. And that is an ending of sorts. The hunger is what's left of all of the bioelectrical mechanical energies that once were the elite of the ancient enemy, using tachyons to move forward through time, and now stranded as a mass of energy in space. And just there, gaining just enough energy to sustain itself from the morsel that was Lavalor, his cyber-enhanced men, and his wrecked ship. Tried to become something, arms and stuff, and then nope, all burnt up. Alibi Jones is on his way home to Cat's Eye, and then maybe on to Ceres Central for a little R&R at his aunt's place. See his Aunt Anita. Katie Ramsey has decided to stay on her, the home of the Dakhur, home of Kit and Kat and Rakar and their family, and of course now controlled by the Greater Ta, which is an interesting choice for Katie, since she's not big on control and authority figures, but we'll see. The Adventures of Alibi Jones Chronological Omnibus continues on the podcast next week with Alibi Jones and the Wishing Stone, which began life as a comic book story, and it can be found in the Chronological Omnibus with art by Mesha and inks by Bill Nichols and color by Ken Latier. And after we do the Wishing Stone, we'll be getting into the Time War of the Devrisium with About Time, which also began life as a comic book story. So once again, the Wishing Stone coming up on our next episode. And that is all for this week. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma. Thank you again for listening to Glow in the Dark Radio. Glow in the Dark Radio. This podcast presentation is copyright 2025 by Michael F. Luoma and is protected under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License, CC by NC-ND 4.0. Music by Kevin MacLeod. You can find his work at Incompetech.com. Mike's books are available in ebook, paperback, and audiobook, wherever you find books online. Get links and more details at glowinthedarkradio.com and mikeluoma.com. This has been a presentation of Glow in the Dark Radio.